to the summer hazard that can send beachgoers scrambling for cover. Surprise lightning. Some friends walking along the sand in Daytona Beach, Florida, thought they were in the clear. The sun shining on them when a deadly bolt struck. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez with more.
Lightning struck people at 3200 south the beach.
Lightning striking on this Florida beach, killing one person, leaving two others injured.
It was just a loud explosion and like a flash, and my head felt like it was gonna explode off the top of my head.
Anna Nicorak says she was walking along Daytona Beach shores with a friend Saturday, never imagining she could be hit.
We were in the sunny part. The storm was behind us.
That can be very deceiving to people. It starts to clear up, the sun starts to come out, people want to just get back out there in the water.
Lightning strikes in the U.S. now claiming the lives of 7 people so far in 2016, and 31 people on average each year. First responders warning, if you hear thunder, presume lightning is nearby and take cover.
Start heading for your car or a nearby building. Get away from the objects that are more conductive.
Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, New York.
A story about a Muslim businessman in the United Kingdom who's launched a dating website offering the opportunity to find a second wife or a husband. Despite bigamy being illegal in Britain, the service has already attracted lots of attention. RT's Issa Relli has more about it from London.
When one wife just isn't enough, now Brits can simply log on for their next nuptials. Although it's open to anyone, secondwife.com targets the country's Muslim men with a verse from the Quran which approves multiple marriages. The site's founder says he's trying to challenge traditional attitudes.
If you were to have a one-night stand, or visit a prostitute, or have multiple girlfriends or mistresses, or go on pornographic websites or strip clubs, nobody would have an issue with it. What I'm actually doing is I'm actually removing the taboo. I believe polygamy is the last remaining human taboo. We've explored every other relationship. This one actually works.
Azad says there's a similar website for non-Muslims and it's got thousands of members. As for polygamy's pros and cons, here's what Londoners say.
I think that that's a better way to go about approaching a situation like that as opposed to having an affair behind closed doors.
I am not personally opposed to it, but I wouldn't be particularly happy if that was my husband.
It's a good idea, but it's not money, you know. If you have more than 2 wives or 3 wives, you need to must have a house or good money.
I'm very happily married, and I wouldn't be if there was a second wife. And I would certainly not be looking for a second husband, I think.
And I'm about to get married and wouldn't really like it if my fiancé was using a website called My Second Wife.
Gosh, I think it's hard enough being married to one woman, isn't it? Why would you want to double your trouble?
Polygamous marriages are not legally recognised. Polygamy can lead to an imbalance in the dynamic of the relationship. That can be anything from who does the cooking to which wife he's having relations with, which wife he chooses to see.
I tried to log on to the website for purely journalistic purposes, of course. It seems that the website has come under some sort of hack attack, maybe by a very unhappy first wife.
And with an estimated 20,000 polygamous marriages among Britain's Muslims, wives who want to stay the one and only might want to keep an eye on their other halves' browsing history. Issa Ali, RT in London.
Over that historic vote to leave the European Union, reality is setting in this morning. So many people signing a petition calling for a do-over vote, they crashed Parliament's website. ABC's Alex Marquardt is in London with more on this story. Alex, this backlash is very real.
Good morning, Cecilia. That's right. The dust is starting to settle. The initial shock of this earth-shattering referendum starting to wear off. But now the reality is no one really knows exactly how this is going to work. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's breeding fear. European leaders got together this weekend in Paris and called on the UK to start the process of leaving the EU immediately. They don't want this spreading. Already in places like France and the Netherlands, we're hearing the far-right parties demanding votes of their own. Here in the UK, backlash is also growing against the so-called regret voters, those who chose to leave and are now regretting their decisions. As you mentioned, there are loud calls for a second referendum, which is highly unlikely, but a petition has already gotten 3 million signatures, crashing that webpage. All of this doing nothing to calm the markets before they open tomorrow. Today, we're seeing the Middle Eastern markets, which are open, taking a plunge. On a slightly lighter note, 2 more immediate victims of the Brexit will be the winners of the Wimbledon Tennis Championships starting here tomorrow. With the British pound crashing, the prize money for the singles champions has dropped from almost $3 million to around $2.7 million. But something tells me they'll be okay.
Ibu buka bude tahu
This is troubling. Another man falling victim to the flesh-eating bacteria in Texas waters. A simple getaway to the beach for Adrian Ruiz ends in the guy fighting to keep his leg. After visiting Port Aransas, the 42-year-old woke up the following day with this red rash of fever and chills.
Once the doctor looked at his foot and said, I'm dying, I think this is cellulitis, he goes, but I know that you're telling me you've been in the beach water. He goes, I'm not trying to alarm you or scare you. He goes, but there has been flesh-eating bacteria that's been reported in Galveston.
Turns out the doc was right on the money. This happened in just 24 hours. That is nasty.
Flesh-eating bacteria.
I'm fearful for him possibly losing his leg. I don't want to think that that's going to happen, and I've told him we're going to be very positive.
Flesh-eating bacteria is rare, but more common during summer months. It's transmitted through eating uncooked shellfish or while swimming in the ocean with an open cut or wound. So swimmers beware. Although doctors found no cuts on Ruiz, he's on a slow road to recovery and may stay dry on the sand for now.
Next tonight, breaking news out of California. Several people stabbed at a protest involving white supremacists. This video showing all-out brawls when counter-protesters showed up to the event. The Sacramento Fire Department describing the violence as a mass casualty incident. ABC's Lauren Lister with the late details.
The rally quickly turned to chaos. Oh my God! Police stepping in to stop kicking and rock throwing. The organization coming under attack, the Traditionalist Workers' Party, or TWP, known for ties to white supremacy. The extremist group had a permit to march. Counter-protesters showed up, and that's when the violence erupted. At least 6 people from the white supremacist organization were stabbed. Police say they tried to gain control.
That was what our primary focus was, to de-escalate the situation, again, to return to a situation where we can ensure the safety of all persons.
At least 7 people total have been taken to the hospital, 2 with life-threatening injuries, and police have yet to announce any arrests.
Some disturbing new video out of Cincinnati. The man you see sitting down here is Thomas Robinson. He's been charged with murder. As a police officer changes out of his handcuffs, he goes for the gun. He never did manage to get the gun, but cops say that the guns are locked into their holster for this very reason. And other officers in the room eventually did subdue him with tasers. You might think, what a stupid way to try and make an escape. But it sounds like Robinson had something else in mind. Apparently, he kept yelling, "Kill me," during the struggle. He's now been charged with assault in addition to murder, as well as other drug charges that he'd been facing since November.
Reports saying the Pope had said the Roman Catholic Church should seek forgiveness from homosexuals. Could you put that in context for us?
Sure, Michael. This again was part of that airborne press conference. Recently, a very senior cardinal and a close advisor to Pope Francis suggested that both the church and the broader society have mistreated gays over the years, and he suggested that maybe it's time for the church to make an apology. So the question to Pope Francis was, do you agree with that, particularly in the context of the tragedy of Orlando in the United States, the shootings at the Pulse nightclub? And the Pope's response was that he believes any time that Christians could have defended someone and failed to do it, that they should make an apology. He said that applies to gays, but he went on to say it's probably not just gays to whom we should be apologizing. We probably also should be apologizing to the poor, to women who have been exploited, to children who have been taken advantage of through child labor, to people who have been victims of armed conflicts that the church has blessed over the years. So while he certainly was supportive of the idea of an apology to gays, he put that in a much broader context.